We investigate the Roswell incident, either the biggest UFO cover-up of all time, or just the biggest misunderstanding of all time. Either way, 70 years later, we're still debating about it. This is the holy grail of alien stories.
The Roswell incident is one of the most iconic and mysterious events in UFO history, and it has captivated the public for over 7 decades. The story begins on the night of July 4th, 1947, in the remote desert of New Mexico, when a strange object, later alleged to be a UFO, crashed near Roswell. The initial news was filled with intrigue, but what followed was an intricate web of cover-ups, denials, and bizarre eyewitness accounts that still fuel conspiracy theories to this day. The first official announcement came from the Roswell Army Airfield, RAF, on July 8, 1947. Major Jesse Marcel, the intelligence officer at the base, was dispatched to collect the debris from a ranch near Corona, New Mexico. On the same day, the public information officer, Walter Haut, issued a press release stating that the military had recovered a flying disc from the site. This announcement was a bombshell, igniting widespread media interest and speculation. But just a day later, the story took a dramatic turn. The military retracted the flying saucer claim and instead issued a statement claiming the debris was from a weather balloon. This sudden change left many questions unanswered and set the stage for decades of conspiracy theories.
Before you leave office, will you let us know if there's aliens? Because this is the only thing I really want to know. I want to know what's going on. Would you ever open up Roswell and let us know what's really going on there?
So many people ask me that question.
I know, it sounds almost ridiculous, but it's actually the real question I want to know.
It sounds like a cute question, but it's actually, there are millions and millions of people that want to go there, that want to see it. I won't talk to you about what I know about it, but it's very interesting. But Roswell's a very interesting place with a lot of people that would like to know what's going on.
So you're saying you may declassify?
Oh.
You'll take it?
Well, I'll have to think about that one, right? I'll have to think.
Eyewitness accounts from those involved in the recovery of the debris, however, tell a different story. According to Major Marcel and others, the debris they found was unlike anything they had ever encountered. Marcel described the material as lightweight yet incredibly durable, almost indestructible. It seemed to crumple like tinfoil, but would immediately return to its original shape when released. In the years that followed, Marcel would come forward with claims that what he had seen was not of this earth. His assertions, however, were met with skepticism, especially when coupled with the military's insistence that the material was simply a weather balloon. Fast forward to 1978, when Marcel, now retired, gave a groundbreaking interview to ufologist Stanton Friedman. Marcel revealed that the weather balloon explanation was a cover-up and that the wreckage he had seen was indeed extraterrestrial. His words sparked a renewed interest in the Roswell incident and led to the publication of the 1980 book, The Roswell Incident by Charles Berlitz and William Moore, which further propagated the theory that a UFO had crashed in the New Mexico desert and that the military had been hiding the truth. In the years following, more witnesses came forward, each adding their own pieces to the puzzle. Among the most notable was Glenn Dennis, a mortician who claimed to have been contacted by the military about preparing bodies of non-human origin.
Really, the way I became involved in this was started out in the early afternoon, around probably 1:30 in the afternoon, and I received a telephone call from the mortuary officer out at the Walker Air Force Base, Army Airfield Base, and he was inquiring about what would be the smallest possible casket that we could get that would be hermetically sealed. And at that time, I know that we had used like the 4 feet and caskets. We had used those before, but I thought they also made them in a 3/6. So, he wanted to know if we had any in stock, and I said no, but if I can make a call to Amarillo, I can have him in, by 7 o'clock the next morning on a truck. So he said, I'll get back to you. And that was the first contact that I had.
Dennis's testimony became a cornerstone of the Roswell UFO conspiracy, as he described how local nurses had witnessed the autopsy of extraterrestrial beings. Despite the lack of verifiable evidence, his claims were widely circulated in UFO circles, contributing to the growing belief that the Roswell incident involved more than just a crashed weather balloon. In the 1990s, the U.S. Air Force published reports attempting to debunk the UFO theory surrounding Roswell. Their investigation linked the debris found at Roswell to Project Mogul, a top-secret military project that used high-altitude balloons to monitor Soviet nuclear tests. The Air Force explained that the flying disc found near Roswell was simply a balloon with radar reflectors attached. Yet the new explanation did little to quell public interest in the UFO theory. In fact, it only fueled further speculation that the government was covering up the truth. Despite the Air Force's explanations and the passage of time, many Roswell witnesses, including military personnel, continued to assert that the official story is a fabrication. Retired Brigadier General Thomas Dubose, who was involved in the original press conference, later admitted that the weather balloon explanation was indeed a cover story. His admission gave additional weight to the claims of a cover-up.
It was a cover story. The balloon part of it is the story that's to be given to the press, and that is it, and anything else, forget it. And McMullen, if you ever knew him, if you told him that he wanted to run something, he goddamn sure ran it. He knew every facet of the operation. He's a busybody. He wanted to know what the hell was going on, who was pissing on the sidewalk, and all that sort of thing.
General McMullen, the deputy head of Strategic Air Command at the Pentagon, was in charge of the entire operation.
Furthermore, numerous individuals involved in the event have spoken about their own involvement, describing the crashed UFO and the bodies they allegedly saw. Some have even shared details about the secrecy imposed on them, claiming they were threatened with dire consequences if they spoke out. In 2007, just 2 years after his death, a sealed affidavit by Walter Haut, the original public information officer for Roswell, was released to the public. Haut's statement corroborated many of the claims made by other witnesses, and in it he confirmed that he had seen the crashed craft and the alien bodies. Haut's affidavit was a critical piece of the puzzle for UFO researchers, offering first-hand testimony from someone who had been sworn to secrecy for decades. His account detailed the size of the craft, which he described as being roughly 25 feet in diameter and egg-shaped, and the bodies, which were described as child-sized, gray-skinned, and humanoid. But perhaps one of the most significant revelations came from James Bond Johnson, the Army photographer who had taken the infamous photos of the weather balloon debris being paraded by military officials. Years later, Johnson, who had gone on to become a psychologist and National Security Council consultant, admitted that the weather balloon explanation was just a cover-up. He confirmed that the media and the public had been misled, and that the flying saucer and its crew of extraterrestrials had indeed come from beyond our world. Despite decades of conflicting accounts, hoaxes, and debunkings, the Roswell incident continues to be a focal point for UFO enthusiasts and conspiracy theorists. Some believe that the truth is hidden in plain sight and that the government's denials and cover stories are part of an elaborate plan to keep the public in the dark. The fact that so many key witnesses, including military personnel, continue to speak out about their experiences only strengthens the belief that something extraordinary happened in Roswell in 1947. What is the truth behind the Roswell crash? Did the US government recover a UFO and extraterrestrial bodies in the desert that night? Or was it simply a case of mistaken identity, with the military scrambling to cover up the failure of a classified project? The answer remains elusive, but one thing is certain: the Roswell incident has had an enduring impact on UFO lore, shaping public perceptions of extraterrestrial life and government secrecy for generations. As more eyewitness accounts continue to surface, the mystery of Roswell remains as compelling as ever, with the truth still just out of reach. Like and subscribe for more content from us.